What's going on? Chris Jenkins, credential member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People, coming to you Monday night for our Let's Talk About It session. So, what this is about, ladies and gentlemen, is interacting with you fans of the Carolina Panthers. Questions, comments, being your therapist, all that good stuff is what I'm here for. Up to 1 hour is how long we do this show. And we're going to talk about the New Orleans Saints coming in at 1-8, leaving at 2-8 after beating the Carolina Panthers 17-7 at Bank of America Stadium. And what was a game from a score perspective wasn't like the worst score. We've gotten beat far worse than that this season. But the way in which it played out yesterday was like, ugh. It was tough, and I think that's because we scored on the very first drive, and then it's just like everybody went home. Players, like they just checked out, and we're not able to do much after that happened. So we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to, as always, there's a link in the description for you guys to call into the show. So whether you're on a laptop, cell phone, whatever you have that's connected to the internet and has a camera, you can come on. Love to hear from you. Love meeting all of the fans out there at the Carolina Panthers. So please look into doing that. And then also I'm going to pin that information in the comments here in just a second so that you guys can do that. And then at about 7:10, we'll get underway with taking your calls. All right. So just put that there. Now let me pin that comment so that everybody can see that. What's up, Underground West? Appreciate you checking us out. Thank you. And let me see if I can go to my other spot that I can do this. Oh, I didn't mean to bring you on already, Thomas. Let me try to hide you. Oh, that didn't hide you. All right. And let me mute you. There we go. So now I switch what's going on here? Let's see. Now I got the wrong camera showing. There we go. The life and times of the solopreneur. All right, let me go ahead and pin this comment right here. So again, now I've put it into the comments. You guys have the ability to click on that link that is now pinned into the comments and join the show and talk to me, interact. Thomas always kicks us off, so we're going to get to Thomas in just about 4 minutes here. Few things that I want to go over with you guys. Man, yesterday was a big missed opportunity for the Carolina Panthers to do something in the standings. Everybody lost. So right now, didn't make a screen graphic for this, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at the top of the division at 6-3. Carolina's second at 5-5. Saints are 3-6. All right, let's try this one more time. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 6-3. The Carolina Panthers are 5-5. The Atlanta Falcons are 3-6. The New Orleans Saints are 2-8. So what did we miss an opportunity on? That missed opportunity was yesterday, being able to go to 6-4, being in second place behind Tampa Bay at 6-3, being only just a half game out of first place. So man, it's a missed opportunity right there. So again, this show is about whatever you guys want to talk about. Venting, ranting, questions, technical stuff. You heard and you want to know if it's true type stuff. And I'm also going to share with you guys the pass charts, run charts, and carry charts that I usually get. I didn't get a chance to crop them perfectly for the show, but I think you guys will still get the idea and be able to take a look. Might be setting So again, excuse the lack of cropping here to fit the screen perfectly. But here's T-Mac's chart from yesterday. Targeted 8 times, 5 receptions, 60 yards. Not a bad game. But that's T-Mac yesterday. And then let's take a look at Rico Dowdle, what he was able to do yesterday. He tried to run him everywhere. Didn't try to run him to the outside on the right, but tried to run him a little left, a little center, a little right, far left. And Rico wasn't able to do too much yesterday. 18 carries, 53 yards, 1 TD. Really after that first drive, things were looking pretty tough for him. And then let's go to this passing chart because Bryce Young is indeed a topic. Bryce Young's pass charts, and I'm going to admit these pass charts don't always clearly tell the story, but it's just another thing that you can look at to see how things are going. And actually, for me, I'll be honest with you, when I first glanced at this chart, it ain't too bad, but it was a really bad game. 17 out of 25. That's 124 yards. I mean, it is what it is. So give me a second to throw in these headphones. We're now at 7:10 about, and I'm going to talk to my guy, Thomas. Let me also give a shout out to Loud Pack Luke. Hopefully I said that right. Time for Bryce to go. Underground West, we're definitely going to get into that and talk about that as well. I'm a little tired today. I don't know why. My voice feels a little tired already. We just started the show. Don't be yawning, man. I'm about to bring you on the show. And Thomas has let out a huge yawn, you guys, before I bring him on. So he's testing my production abilities to not bring him on yet. And now he's looking right. He's done yawning. What's going on, man? Are you ever going to drink that Coors Light that's behind you? I mean, it's been up there for a while.
That?
Or is that a game?
That's one of my NASCAR diecast boxes. Oh, Chris. Where do we begin?
Well, I got to put you on the clock because I got someone waiting, so you can go ahead and get started.
So here I am trying to watch this game when it was snowing. Yes, it was snowing in Northwest Ohio.
Okay.
And a part of me wants to be upset. Part of me is like, you know what? It's still a young team. They're trying to find ways to be consistent, trying to find ways to win. But it was one of those typical games. It felt like when they would lose, they had a good first drive, but it's like, we're good. We're good. It's like the Saints was not afraid of the run game. They shut that down immediately after the first drive. So, and I've said this before, it's all about adjustments. The Saints made adjustments. I did not see a whole lot from Carolina. That was one. And I also think I said this last week. I mean, yeah, it's great when they win and Bryce is only thrown for 100 yards, but there's going to be times to where the run game shuts down early like it did. 124 yards ain't going to cut it. 150 ain't going to cut it. You're going to have to try to keep going near 200 because yesterday just proved that if the run game's not going to do anything, your offense, they're going to keep stacking them in the box. And sometimes on the broadcast, they even said, like, with them stacking the box 8 deep, you got to try taking some shots downfield. And I know they tried, but some of the receivers weren't helping them out. But the one thing, Shuck, I think that's how you pronounce his name. That was unbelievable. He made the Carolina's secondary made him look like a top 3 quarterback. And I think what happened was they came off of their big win against Green Bay. I think they were slightly hungover. And they know in a couple weeks they got to play the 49ers on national TV. So I think, divisional game, they go back. They can go either way. But I would like to see a little more passing production from that. But yesterday, chalk it up as a bad game, but at least Tampa lost.
At least Tampa lost. Yeah. Hey, in closing, because again, I got someone waiting in the green room. Yeah. Did you, has your faith, belief, whatever you want to call it, has it changed? Is it the same?
Okay, I'm going to be quickly honest. I still have the faith in Dave Canales. He's still learning because I think prior to his last year, he didn't really call plays that much. So he's still learning, but I would like for him to kind of make a decision here to either put faith in his OC or bring in somebody else. If you don't fully trust him, you're doing too much right now. I feel like with him learning, he needs to just coach. And Bryce, I'm not ready to give up.
Oh, I didn't mean to hit that on you again, but even though your time is up.
I did see a few people saying, bench him, get rid of him. We've done this before. Andy Dalton a couple weeks ago. Do we really want to go through that again? I think their best chance to win is with Bryce. So, I mean, I did expect play.
Yeah, you're double over. We got to work on it, Thomas. We got to work on it. Share the mic. But thank you so much, man.
Yes, have a wonderful night.
Thank you. You as well. All right, Lucas, I do see you waiting, so I wanted to make sure that I kept the time proper. Let me comment on his call, and then we're going to go right into you, my friend. So he said the team is young. Thomas, I'm sorry, said the team is young, hasn't lost faith, has faith in Canales, and feels like maybe he should give up some play calling responsibility so he can do more of learning how to manage being a head coach. Some things to consider for sure. You know, one thing that I did appreciate in Canales yesterday and today, he didn't try to go and say like, everything is fine. Oh no, this wasn't the case. He said, what it was. They stopped the run. They couldn't do anything else. They tried to vary things with the pass game. They didn't have any answers, and they just got, they got beat. It wasn't done well, and that not Tampa, but New Orleans beat them in some very fundamental ways. So, and Frisbee, well, I don't know why I want to call you Frisbee and not your first name tonight, Thomas. I told you guys, for some reason I feel really tired. But Shock, the rookie for New Orleans Saints, he did do really good yesterday. He didn't look much like a rookie. He didn't get rattled when things weren't going the way that they needed to be. He scrambled well. He didn't scramble and just look like he was scared and running for his life. He scrambled at times and made a pass. He scrambled at times and got a few yards. So, yeah, it was a lot of stuff that was troubling yesterday. Appreciate you calling in, Thomas, and look forward to talking to you next week. Lucas has patiently waited. Can you give me a thumbs up to make sure that you're still there waiting and can hear me good? He gave me the thumbs up. What's going on, man?
How's it going, Chris?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Unfortunately, my Panthers let me down. Just wanted to talk to you about them. Man, I feel like this rookie class that we have drafted this past year has so much potential, especially like my favorite T-Mac and Mitchell Evans. They're going to need a quarterback to throw to them, and I don't think it's going to be Bryce. They have so much potential, like T-Mac, Evans, Morig, Princely, and Nick Scorton. This is the best rookie class we've had in so long, and Bryce is not going to be the quarterback. He can barely throw for 150. I can't remember the last time he's thrown for 200. And it's just a disappointment every time. And I feel like it's time to move on from this guy, man. If we can't, I don't feel confident. Every time I turn on the game on Sunday, when you have a 1-8 team, a division rival, especially like New Orleans, and you can only put up 7 points, and your defense, I feel like in the NFL, if you can hold them to 17, your offense needs to at least put up at least 21 on a 1-8 New Orleans team. Mm-hmm. And I just don't feel like Bryce is going to be here. I feel like we need to start looking at other options.
Do you have any idea?
Don't need to waste T-Mac.
Do you have any idea on how you would like the approach to be for a successor to Bryce, if that's what they were going to do?
Yes. San Francisco, they're going to either be moving on with Brock Purdy or Mac Jones. I would like to either have whoever they don't move on with. I feel like
free agency.
Yes, I don't want to draft a quarterback. I don't want to do that again. I want someone that has been in the league, like Brock Purdy, Mac Jones. I would even take. I know some people have been saying Jameis Winston. I know that sounds bad. But I would rather have Jameis Winston and Bryce Young, and I know that sounds terrible. But I feel like Jameis could throw 200 and could win that game yesterday. I know it sounds awful, but But dang, I'm so ready to move on. I don't want to waste T-Mac and Mitchell Evans.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, or say, hey, we can't have Jameis. Too many people have said I look like Jameis, so we can't have Jameis.
I understand. I understand.
Appreciate you calling in, man. Anything else you want to touch on?
No, sir. Thank you for what you do. I love your show.
Hey, I think this is your first time calling in, or has it been a
It
while?
is. It is. I've been wanting to call in for a while. I just haven't had the time. Love your show. Keep pounding, Chris.
Hey, thank you for joining. Hope to see you again. Keep pounding, boss.
Keep pounding.
So he had a perspective there on the Bryce replacement process being to get a free agent, and I kind of like that one. I do kind of like that one, in the sense that, like, I talked about it yesterday after the game. I definitely feel like we need to bring in a contender to succeed Bryce, not just outright get rid of Bryce, but just have a contender come in and compete with Bryce for that job. I think any rookie is kind of hard, right? Because rookies, you need some time to develop them most of the time, unless you're going to get a really high pick, and then you might be willing to put that guy in there. But there's certainly been criticism in the league over recent years about how quickly people are trying to take a guy from the college level and then put him in to succeed at the pro level. So yesterday I was saying, like, late, a third round guy, maybe fourth round guy, like low risk, high reward kind of guy. But I like what he mentioned there in terms of having a free agent that you felt good about. I haven't thought in depth about the free agents that are out there, who could be available. But I just feel like that there needs to be competition for Bryce. Like, if we have Bryce next year as the quarterback, I'm fine with it, as long as there was a competition to make sure that Bryce was going to succeed in that competition. And for me, thanks to my good friend Walt that texted me the night before the show, he said, Chris, you've said it from the beginning that you have questions about Bryce and the deep ball. And I know you could say, if you want to be really, really technical, and I don't get into the super technical football talk and debate type stuff. There's 11 guys, you can have this, you can have scheme. Yeah, it could all fall into it, but that's just not the way I look at it. I clearly remember being down in Spartanburg and going through a practice and just being transparent as I always am. I did not watch and study Bryce 100 times in college to see all his plays and look at all his tape. But with me seeing him every day in Spartanburg when we first got him, and seeing the deep balls that he throws, it's like, okay, like, can he throw a ball deep? Yes, he can. But what I never saw was, like, how accurate his deep ball would be. And I'd be like, I remember being on the hill just giving a report with Charlotte Vibe saying, man, he threw some deep balls today, but they just, they weren't accurate. And, today Coach Dave Canales was asked about Bryce Young's confidence to throw the ball deep. And I feel that Dave Canales knows that he has a situation with Bryce Young. The situation being that he has a problem to solve with Bryce Young, and he's not sure how he's going to do that yet. If you're calling plays and you know that you need to go deep, and then you look at the resources that you have, you look at the players that are that are running those plays, and you kind of be like, let me put it like this, a way that I'm sure most people can relate to. You ever had that car that you needed some repairs to it, and you're like, you didn't quite have the money for those repairs yet, but you needed to keep driving the car. So sometimes you might need to merge into traffic, or you might need to do some things. You're like, nah, let me drive this car a little bit cautiously because I need a tune-up. I need some tires, whatever it may be, right? That's kind of like what I feel Dave Canales is going through. It's like, I need to do something different, but what am I going to do? So, when asked about the confidence of Bryce Young, he didn't directly say it, just said it's a collaborative effort. I got some clips from some players that I'm going to share with you guys as well. as well. And Sorry, I just got a text about the kids doing the darndest things. But yeah, let me go ahead and play some of these clips for you guys. And then, as always, we'll get to the comments. Members have priority, so if you're not a member and would like to become a member, please click on the link in the description, and that will allow you to become a member. And you'll have this special little indicator by your name, and I always give you guys some special love when you come on, as well as, hey, always going to ask for it. We're independent media, 100% supported by you guys. So anytime you do have the opportunity to support us, whether that's a cash app, whether that's a super chat, whatever it is you can do, we appreciate it. It helps a lot. There's a lot of expenses go into doing this, as well as there's a free way that I want everybody to get in the habit of doing that will really help me out, help me continue to grow and have access to coaches and players. That is, engage with the videos, whether you like the video, whether you leave a comment, but just do one of those things. It costs you nothing and means the world to Charlotte Vibe for our growth and what we do here. So let me go ahead and play this clip that I want to play from, I didn't have the clip from the coach, but we're just going to listen in on, I'm tired. I told you guys I was tired. I don't know why I was about to say Tracy McGrady, but on T-Mac, Tetero McMillan, talking about this team, more specifically Bryce Young.
We can't point the finger and put it on Bryce. It's a collective effort. It comes down to, as well as the receivers, we got to be able to make Bryce's job easier. We can't just be possession catchers. We got to be able to get some yards after catch, create explosives for ourselves. So, it's not on Bryce at all.
Did Bryce address the offense after the game?
Yeah, he addressed the team. I feel like he was probably the one of those guys that came out the game with the most fire in his eyes. So, he was disappointed himself in the way he played and, the way the team played. And he addressed that and, he let the team know how he felt. And, it was just contagious.
So there you have T-Mac talking about you can't just put it all on the quarterback, which, of course, if we were at a point where you have teammates putting it on Bryce, then we're at a really bad problem from a coaching standpoint and obviously from a leadership standpoint, because that's just not what you're supposed to do as a player to the media, is just go out and just bash your coach. You saw what kind of kickback Tua had several weeks ago when he talked about players not coming to meetings and things like that. So, T-Mac saying what he has to say, but he's also some truth to it, and they can't just be possession receivers. They got to do things to give him a good opportunity, which is true. Which, again, I'll go back to saying I don't get into the very technical, debatable football talk, right, about this, that, and the other, just making things complicated. For me, it still goes to Bryce the most. He's your quarterback. He's been the consistent thing over these years. Where, as the caller said, now I haven't gone back and looked at the stats. He said, I don't know if Bryce has gotten over 200 yards that many times this year. Let me just see if I can very quickly look at his yards per game. Against Jacksonville, 154. Arizona, that's definitely, I remember him having that big game. That's when he had to come back. Against Atlanta, and that victory, he had just 121. Yeah, I'm not going to go too far. 150 against the Patriots, and we'll just do one more. The Dolphins, he had 198. Then had 199 against the Cowboys. So he has gotten near that 200-yard mark. And had, the Dallas game was a really good game for him. I think for Bryce, it's just a lot of inconsistency. A lot of inconsistency. You're expecting to see more of that consistency. And I saw someone mentioning that Bryce also does a good job of playing clutch. But sometimes you need to also be able to just play a good game throughout. Not saying that you can't have a bad first half and a good second half kind of thing, but just play more consistent football. So this is going to be interesting. Bryce did look visibly distraught and sounded different than he's ever has. I think I got some photographs that I can share with you guys. So that's something to be said, that he knows that things need to get better. But I will say this, we all can know that something needs to get better, and sometimes we can still struggle to get it better, right? Certainly knowing is half the battle, as G.I. Joe famously said. Then the execution is the other half of the battle. I'm trying to see if I can quickly find this photograph. Yeah, let me see if I can drag this to the screen. Maybe not. There you go. Not perfectly on there. But there's a photograph of Bryce Young yesterday at his press conference. Just, for a guy whose demeanor is normally smiles or just different, this right here says a lot for Bryce that, dude is not happy, which is fine. He shouldn't be happy. All right, let me take a drink of water and then work some more of these comments. Well, a few more things about the game. So, Coach Canales talked about the lack of explosive plays. New Orleans had 8, they had 2. And where does that come from? So I feel like perhaps Bryce's challenge with throwing the deep ball comes to being able to see. We've stopped talking about him being able to see since he's gotten drafted, right? That was all the talk before he got drafted. His height, can he see, blah, blah, blah. And that has not been talked about too much lately. But I think that could be playing into it because it also, if you can't clearly see, then you probably can't properly place the ball where you need it to be, right? Because if I can see short, like I'm a big analogy guy. Sometimes it bugs people, but I wear glasses now, as you see when I'm doing shows when the lighting's dark. I cannot see that well close up. The darker it is, the shakier the vision becomes. But anyway, it means I can see close. I can't see far with these glasses on. So if I'm needing to throw something short, boom, I can see. If it's a little bit deeper, I'm going to struggle with it. Maybe that's going on with Bryce. Maybe that's a plausible thing because I just really haven't seen it. And, he'll have guys open and he'll miss them. So, yada, yada, yada. Let's go ahead and continue to work through some of these comments here. Knucklehead K, and as I said, if you are a member, you always get a little special love from me whenever you tune in. Appreciate you, Knucklehead K. Hope all is well on your end as well. What's going on, Renegade? And Ali Bodrick says, Chris, I hope this loss will help the Panthers bounce back with consistency. So let's talk about the bounce back. We take on the Atlanta Falcons this Sunday in Atlanta. Yours truly will be live, as always, pregame on the field in Atlanta. So make sure you set your reminders. Make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications for that show this Sunday, the best pregame show there is for the Carolina Panthers prior to a game kicking off. Now, what started coming out yesterday were players saying that the practice last week just wasn't good. And at first I'm like, that's kind of could be the beginning of a dumpster fire, right? When you start having players talk about things like that you really don't get to know unless somebody tells you from the inside, right? So that came out. And more than one player talked about it. Yesterday, I think it was Datavian Sanders and Icky. Two guys, and that stood out to me because, these are two guys that aren't veterans. Usually veterans are going to be more vocal about that type of thing that's criticizing the organization than a rookie will, because a rookie's just, he's worried about doing his thing. Now, these guys aren't rookies, but they're younger players. JT's in his second year. I think Icky might be in his fourth. So they're not super, they're not rookies. But that was interesting. And then today, more players talked about that. So let me share this clip with you. Nick Scorton talking about the energy, the practice from last week.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure this out, being a rookie. I don't know how, later in the season NFL practices are supposed to be, but I think it was just before the game. I mean, I got it early and it was just a little quiet. It just didn't seem right. But, not going to speak too much on practices and what's going on behind there. But, yeah, I just felt like the energy was off in the morning.
You're talking more about Sunday morning. You thought the practices were okay?
Yeah, I mean, just getting our bodies back. I can't agree though. I mean, I did feel a little lackadaisical, like energy, around, but I mean, that's just how it is when you play 10 NFL games. I thought, but I just felt the energy before the game was kind of up.
So there you have Nick Scourton, first-year player, and I think he said it very well. He said, like, hey, I'm new here, so I can't talk about this in great length, but the energy felt different this Sunday. The outcome was different. Practice was, a little not up to standards. And again, Dave Canales already acknowledged what the players are saying, that it wasn't right. Doesn't know exactly why. Hey, it could have been a travel schedule. You could blame it on the Victory Monday, but they had one before. And it's not like, the players said there's not a whole lot that changes. And I've always thought this. To me, a Victory Monday is like, don't come in at all. But the players have to come into the to the stadium and have meetings. I don't know what one little thing they may not do. Maybe they end earlier than normal. But a Victory Monday is not like, hey, you got off an extra day, like completely. Because, again, they are still there for quite a while. But at first thinking like, man, this could be bad for the organization. But I think that Dave Canales allows players to talk, and he's an honest guy. So he said, hey, maybe he's giving it, say how you feel when you talk to them. I'm not going to, you guys are grown men. If you feel like you need to say it, then say it. But I'm also going to say what I need to say to you guys as well. And so anyway, I just go to like, that is not the problem that I thought maybe it could be in regards to players speaking up about practice not being good. Now, I also go to say this. I'm sure teams haven't had a good practice before. This is not like, you can't sit there and think that, man, we'd be good if we had a good practice every single, like, yeah, of course, but it doesn't happen. So I'm not even so, I want to put a little water to the fire in that, like, oh, they had a bad practice. It could happen. It does happen. Who doesn't have a bad week at work? But what did happen was, like, I still like the fact that players are able to speak their mind. I like that the coach is acknowledging the problems. He's not going to acknowledge every single one. And I like that a lot of guys know that they got to do better. And so I believe that this team is fine with what happened on Sunday because of how they're built and the culture that they're building, the coach that they have. Now, he can't just fix it all completely this Sunday. I'm just going to tell you that. And my strong opinion, he cannot fix it all this Sunday. And I say that based on being somebody who's looked at these guys 100 million times and feeling like our quarterback is the biggest problem of the problems that they have with the offense. Stick with Rico Dowdle. Please don't change that. I don't think there hasn't been any talk about it. So hopefully we're clear that Rico Dowdle will continue to be the feature running back for the Carolina Panthers. That gives you an excellent opportunity. And then maybe you can try some things to, and I think this question was asked to Canales today, try to get the guys in positions where they can get some more yards after the catch. Now, who's that going to be? Well, Jimmy Horn Jr. pops out at you. Are there things that you can do to hit Jimmy Horn the ball? But then I go back to, let me bring up this pass chart. I just thought about something. And again, please call in. If you haven't called in, you had the ability to call in. Link is pinned in the description, is pinned in the comments. All you got to do is have a phone or a computer, and you can come in and talk to me. But let me bring up something really quick, and then I need to speed up and get to some of y'all's questions here. Let me look at this. All right, so that's the pass chart from this past week. I'm going to look at the chart from the previous week and bring it up on the screen for you guys as well. So give me just a second. I think I'm on to something. I may not, but I'm going to try to see if I'm on to something. And of course, this can be debatable, right? So that's one. Give me one more second. I'm trying to get some information up. Again, I just had this thought, and I want to share it with you guys. We didn't have one week 8. All right, I need one more second. Week 7. All right. So here's a thought that I have. So going back to Bryce Young and his height being a challenge in some areas of his ability to play quarterback at the NFL level. If his height does pose some challenges, which everybody says does. Dave Canales said that, yes, shorter guys, they have some challenges that the taller quarterbacks do not have, but there are some ways to work around it and work through it. So let's continue to evaluate my thoughts of like his height might be some of the challenges here. So if you look at this pass chart here, and you go right near the hash, there were 3 passes between the hash. And you can see ones that are close to it, right? 2 complete, 1 incomplete. That ain't bad. This might break my, I wonder if such and such is a problem. And now we'll try to look at this one right beside it. This is from the Packers game. And you look at this one, it has 1 in the center, and it was completed. Okay. And then let's go look at one more game. This is against the Jets. Had 3 in the center. I don't know. Yeah, what I was gonna look into was saying like, does he throw in the middle much? But anyway, let's take a look at this one. Coach Canales said he wants to open a playbook. If he's not able, we have to question why. We are still struggling to learn things we should know from training camp. Yeah, you could want to open a playbook all day long, but I think I've already gave the example of like the car that needs some repair work to it. You're gonna drive it in a way that's gonna keep it together until you can afford to get those repairs done. You're gonna coach this team in the best way that you can without breaking it and get into situations that really makes you uncomfortable. So I think that's all that we're battling with there. I think Canales knows that he wants some things different. I think this will be an interesting offseason for the Carolina Panthers because like Thomas said, I believe it was Thomas, it could have been my second caller, which I forget the name of, said like we have some good talent, some young talent. He mentioned Tetairoa McMillan, most notably on the offensive side with being a guy that's good. You got JT Sanders, second year guy, who's been slow to give you that performance that you saw before he got his injury. You got Xavier, you got Jalen, you got Jimmy Horn Jr., guys out there that are getting reps. But you have some young talent that I would say you feel confident in, and you need to be able to get those guys the ball. I'll do credit to Shock. He was great for his second start. Yeah. Shock did it. Yeah, his name is pronounced pretty interestingly. I wanted Bryce to succeed, but it's not looking good, to be honest. Yeah, I don't. It does not look good for me to Bryce. Renegade says keep Bryce in that competition, which is what I was saying earlier. Keep Bryce. He could still be serviceable, right? He could still continue to improve a little bit, but I don't feel like get rid of him and then put all of your hopes into some unproven person. I don't think you should do that. I agree, Chris. Dave knows Bryce's shortcomings, whether he admits it or not. Yeah. I really think Dave, it did the case where he is a little bit of a buyer's remorse, right? Not exactly, but buyer's remorse in the sense that Bryce started off a little bit better. Things were getting better. He ended last season good. You're like, okay, we can make this work. And now I feel like he's like, God, dang it, I'm back to how can I make this work within what this guy does? And he goes to make a game plan within that. And I remember saying to you guys, hey, let's have a game plan for Bryce that does not put him in a position to where he's going to throw a turnover early on in the game. He did it this past week. You know, he threw an interception early on in the game, but fortunately there was a penalty, roughing the passer. We were able to keep the ball and able to continue that drive. But it's like when you have situations where you have to really, really say, let me make sure I put Bryce in a position where he's not going to turn the ball over early. That restricts the things that you can do. And then you're also worried about, well, let me also coach this game plan where he doesn't have to throw the ball down the field, or he's not throwing the ball down the field. So put things here. You think that defenders can't start to play on that? They can. They could leave the guy open going deep and give more support to the stuff short so that, hey, yeah, you did make the completion for 2 yards. Okay, that's fine. You're still now in 2nd and 7, 3rd and 6, you know, and now we can come after you on 3rd down and you need to throw the ball further than 5 yards, but guess what? You're only going to throw it 5 yards because that's the only place that you're looking that you can see that can get open, and there you have it. Final Ball says, Coach needs to go back and run the offense Bryce ran at the end of the year, the 2-minute drill. That's where he is best at. Yeah, Final Ball. So I feel like that's also, I hear what you're saying. I just feel like it's a mixed bag because you still get into that being like clutch time, that you can do that. You can't do that the entire game. If you're not successful with it on a few drives, now you're giving the defense to be out there more because you just went 3 and out in like 45 seconds kind of deal. Or, you know, won't be that quick, obviously, but you might only take 45 seconds off the clock. And now you got the defense out there for an extended drive for the other team. And now you have to deal with maybe the defense getting tired. So you got to look at that part too. Slim Pickens, I appreciate your work. Don't want to type stuff I regret. Just hope the makes the right decisions. Keep pounding. Appreciate you, Slim Pickens. I know it's tough. So I don't think once they started winning with the run, they didn't think about balance. Because he said it the other day, like he wanted to, he tried to, but he was. Let me see if I got some more of a quote that I can say from it. But I feel like it's really knowing with our current team, this is what I can do. I can't do more than this. Let me see what I have here in my notes. Yeah, let me try to play this clip for you guys, which to me says he absolutely knows what he wants to do. And for me, this clip that I'm about to play for you guys shows that he absolutely does not feel like he can do what he wants to do when he needs to do it. Let me get this clip for you guys. See if I can go, I think it's like the 5:30 mark. All right, so let me try to do this.
What needs to be offensively in order to take care of the ball, and even defensively in those sudden change situations to try to limit that from being an issue?
Yeah, our defense has done a good job of responding to some of those by minimizing what type of points by keeping teams to field goals, but there have been some touchdowns and scores that way. Generally speaking, our guys have had good ball security. We're talking about the pass game, of course, with Jimmy's fumble on the jet sweep. That was just a technique thing. We've talked through that and worked through it. But I think in general, it's starts with the protection up front, making sure, and then it goes to the.
All right, so my apologies. I did not play the part that I wanted to play. By the way, is this showing full screen to you guys when I pull this up? Because it didn't look like it was full screen to me. But again, let me know in the comments. But sorry, I played the wrong clip, but I wanted to play this clip right here on Dave Canales talking about running the offense, which I think is important to hear.
On the success of this run game?
By numbers wise, we're about the same. I think it's just a matter of chemistry, the full group getting comfortable with those and then making them come alive.
Is Bryce comfortable taking those deep shots?
We'll have to just keep growing as a group and make sure that, we're the time on task, the trust factor, the me to you factor, all those things, grow.
What do you think will help the trust factor? When you say trust factor, do you mean between wide receivers and Bryce, or coaching staff and Bryce, play calling and Bryce?
All the things, and it happens in practice. And we've had these things come alive in practice.
So I couldn't find it, and I don't want to take up all the time trying to find it. But it was disappointing with his press conference today where he talked about when they got these guys stacked and they got a single high safety, that that's a good opportunity. You would like to be able to take an opportunity to get a chunk play, to get a splash play, whatever you want to call it, a big play, and they're not able to do that. So when you say that as a coach, to me, that's saying what you wanted to do. You just, you can't do it. So I think I think Bryce is serviceable. I think Bryce can be a good game manager, but there's some limitations to him that I feel like I'm hoping that Dan Morgan will explore seriously for Bryce Young coming up. Yeah, he did get bailed out by one. Yeah, and this is the other part of Bryce's game, right? I don't know if I can quickly find it. He has turnovers, and they're not just interceptions. That's the one that easily is trackable. You can see, hey, how many times did this quarterback throw an interception? I think he's done like 6 or 8. But he's fumbled the ball. I'm going to do a very unreliable thing to figure this out. You guys have any idea how many times Bryce has fumbled this year? I'm going to see if I can quickly find out. I'm not going to say this is the most reliable answer, but it looks like he's fumbled 5 times and lost 3. Yeah. That's my quick data analysis retrieval. He fumbled in Jacksonville, lost it. He fumbled in Arizona, lost it. He fumbled against Miami, lost it. He fumbled against Green Bay. Yeah, so that adds to his turnovers. Fumbling the ball every other game. Not exactly. Yeah. 5 fumbles. Whether it's fumbles, whether it's interceptions, those are things that just continue to frustrate me about Bryce. You guys said audio super quiet? I don't think so. Oh, were you probably saying the volume on the videos? I'm sorry. I'm just now seeing that. So my bad. I could play again for you real quick if you guys want to let me know what volume was low. What video was I playing where the volume was low? And I'll try to fix that. I'm sorry. Shane, I hear you. I don't think the Panthers are going to lose all the games because teams have found out their secret. Because you have to be, every coach's style is different, right? You might say, hey, I don't want to do this because I feel like that can happen because of our personnel, right? So you still have to feel comfortable with your personnel when you go to sell out against the run, that you still aren't going to have a guy that is bad at being out there on the island covering a guy such as T-Mac, Xavier, whoever, right? Certainly the Saints felt like they had the personnel and the courage to do so, but you could definitely get burned even though Bryce seems to be struggling with it. It doesn't take but one connection to a guy that's 60, 70-yard play, momentum swing, and then, they could continue to stay ahead depending on when that mistake could happen by the other team. So I don't feel like it's an automatic death sentence that teams got our number, but it will certainly present some challenges. Absolutely will. Somebody said it's crazy we're 5-5 and we're more upset than 1-9. Yeah, yesterday was just a different kind of game, man. We've been beat from a score perspective a lot worse than yesterday, but yesterday it was a different kind of game. It just seemed like, I guess because yesterday, like other times when we've been beat pretty bad, it just seemed like we were outmatched. They just handed us the business. But yesterday it felt like, oh, we have a chance, boom, shot ourselves in the foot. Oh, we have a chance, oh, shoot ourselves in the foot. Oh, we got a field goal, oh, no, you don't, it's blocked. Okay, it was blocked, but you guys get the ball back. Okay, word. And then you still don't get much of anything out of it. And, just shooting ourselves in the foot. All right, we got one of our members that came in here. What's going on? Remember, we need Bryce of the second half last year, please, not the first part of the year. I hear you. Yeah, you could say Jimmy. You could say any of these guys down the field, right? You could say Teteroa down the field, because we got some big guys. Teteroa, Bryson Tremaine is a big guy. I thought about that when I interviewed him. So I think there's plenty of guys. Yeah, you would love to see Jimmy, but I think there's plenty of guys that could go downfield and you would like to see making some attempts. But can we get it to them? And not only can we get it to them, can we get it to them in the right spot? That's where I feel like is the problem. Got another member. Again, always got to get some special love and shout out to the members that join us and tune in. Appreciate you, Panthers boy. Stephen says, I don't think Canales trusts Bryce Young, Sally. That may be translated into Bryce Young and his confidence to make those big plays. Stephanie, do you think that Dave should have confidence in Bryce to make those throws that many of us, I know I haven't seen him consistently make? You can say it's sad that Chris has a lack of confidence in Bryce, but it's a sad fact. It could be a sad fact. I haven't seen it enough. Now Alonzo's calling him trash, so I'm not going to call him trash. I'm not going to be that harsh. I think there's some good things to him. I just really feel like at this level, I'm just going to say I'm the guy. You can come at me. Hopefully you guys won't, because I'm just a kind guy. But I think it's height. I feel like it's his height. I like your comment, Ryan. I like your comment. Team sport, but only get mad at QB. No one mad about Jimmy Horn's fumble or JC falling over. So, Jimmy Horn fumble, Bryce said was his fault. I looked at it. I hadn't looked at the broadcast version, which should have more replays. I don't know if Jimmy Horn knew that he was getting that ball. it just seemed weird because he to me, if Jimmy had been going for it, he would have got it the whole time. So, but Bryce said Jimmy even apologized about that play, but it was on him. And then J.C. Horn falling down, that certainly led to some scores. But you still look at overall the defense, they held them to 17 points. Had the guy falling down. And, but you could say this as well, right? How many times has Jimmy Horn made a mistake, even though Bryce says that was on him, right? So that's kind of where you think about things. And then how many times has J.C. Horn made a mistake? J.C. Horn's been incredible this year. So when a guy's been incredible, hey, you could have a bad game. Okay, J.C. Horn had a bad game. It impacted yesterday. So did Bryce Young have a bad game. But it is not the first time that Bryce Young has had a game that was not good that you felt like impacted the game. So that's why, in my opinion, of course, there's the quarterback, so it stands out the most anyway in the league. But I would just go a little level deeper and say Bryce has messed up more consistently than any of the other guys that you're talking about. So, yeah, you kind of start to get fed up with the guy that's the quarterback in this situation, which is Bryce Young. Deshaun, I'm going to leave Bryce alone. I think I talk about Bryce very professionally and respectively. Oh, the season's not over. They're going to do some things different. And just to be quite honest, not everybody's going to just be able to stop Rico like that. If you still get Rico to be half of what he was when he's getting 200 yards and you do some other things, then you open things back up. So that's what they're racking their heads now to try to figure out. It's like, okay, what other wrinkles can we do to get us going? Because we do have the ability. I don't know what just happened to my camera there. All right. Okay, my camera's getting lazy on me. So we'll just switch to this camera right here. What other things can we do to get some progress, right? So I know that's what they're doing right now. Just got a few more minutes here before we get out of here. Let me scroll fast, see if there's any. Let's talk about how Derek Brown is a beast out there. Unbelievable. Chance, I appreciate you trying to. We'll end on this note. Or I'll see if there's something else out there. Chance Hines, one of our members, thank you so much, sir, for being a member. He says, let's shine a light on Derek Brown and how good he is. Let's do that. I think I had this up from yesterday. That's the rushing. That's the receiving. Maybe I'm lucky and this is it. That's not it. All right, I'm 0 for 3, so it has to be this one right here. Derek Brown at the top of your list. Yeah, that guy's incredible. 9 tackles, 6 assisted, 3 solos. Really big impact game from a defensive tackle. Usually he gets double teamed and chipped and all this other stuff so much where he can't just excel in the stats. But I'm okay with that because he's taken up 2, maybe 3 guys to give other guys the ability to do so. Yeah, Coach Evero said last week, it's just unreal to see a guy Derek Brown's size be able to move like he does. And not only be able to move like he does for a play, he'll do it consistently while he's playing a lot of plays. They're not giving Derek Brown a whole lot of plays off to say, hey, come off the sidelines, big fella, catch your breath. So, yeah, Derek Brown, phenomenal athlete. Certainly hope that guy gets some Pro Bowl recognition for his ability and his play this season. I'm going to get one more because we're out of time here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do the show each and every Monday, the day after when they play San Francisco on a Monday night. It'll be a Tuesday night, but just subscribe, turn on your notifications. You'll always know when we go live. Can we discuss the reporting team not being focused at practice? Yeah, Underground already covered that one, so because we're out of time, I won't come back to that. Nah, I don't think he's too nice to be a franchise quarterback. I appreciate your comment, Paul, but you can be nice. But you got to have ability. And if one of his challenges, what I'm saying is his height, then, being angry doesn't change that. Bryce Young's lack of height negates many passing routes and plays that the team use in the middle of the field. They don't attack. I'm going to end on this. And this is why I continue to feel like this is Bryce's biggest challenge is his height. Because he was successful at college. He was successful. He's been successful at every single level since this kid has been playing football. And this is by far the most inconsistent that he has been. And there's definitely a lack of deep balls that he throws and connects on. When Andy Dalton's in the game, and I'm not saying replace him with Andy, but I'm just saying Andy's a taller guy. Same players, same coach, and you have a tremendously different result. So what game was it that Andy started this year? I'm just going to pull up that one from this year. I'm not even going to go to the games last year. Give me just a second. I'm going to pull this up. Was it 2 games ago? Buffalo Bills game. So, case in point, Andy did not have a great game. We lost to the Buffalo Bills 40-9. Got absolutely crushed. When Andy threw the ball, his average was 7.3 yards that he was completing the ball. What was that, week 7? Week 8? Let me see if I can quickly find the chart. I'm getting out of here on this one. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We had a new caller that called in tonight, so I appreciate that. Hopefully you guys will continue to call in and enjoy calling. I really like the chance to meet and talk with you guys. They didn't have a chart up from that week. But yeah, he averaged 7.3. And Bryce, since that game, 5.1 against the Packers, 5 against the Saints. We'll even go back to that Jets victory. 5.5. 5.5. And then during the Jets game, Bryce got hurt. Left, the third quarter? Andy came in. And guess what? Andy comes in and he throws 8.6. 8 points. He's still getting the ball further down the field. To me, that's a height thing. You're not dramatically changing the calls, the game plan. Anyway, hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. Man of the people, appreciate you guys much. We'll do this again next Monday after the game against Atlanta. I think we can certainly have success and will have success against the Falcons. This team has made it no secret. They don't like what happened last week. They don't like how they practiced. They don't like the results. They didn't like the energy. To me, all that says everybody's going to be pushing each other and themselves to be a lot better and not hang the hat on the fact that, hey, we shut out Atlanta last time. I think it's going to be a very motivated team. They're going to be a well-coached team. And I feel like there's reason to be optimistic for Atlanta and that we're going to get more victories. But we have a long-term problem to fix and a concern with Bryce Young. That's it for tonight. Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow or Wednesday.